Welcome back, Weirdos and Weeboos, to this tutorial thing, Bob. Time. So as I promised in the last episode, I'm just going to quickly increase the volume. As I said, all the hats are on this channel, so I'm just going to quickly increase the volume of it. And now it's a lot better. Now that is a little too loud. I don't want them to sound too powerful. 115 sounds good. There we go. Oh, you know what? I just realised I should have had this out the rest of the tutorial. So this is the hint bar, and whenever you go on something, it can tell you about it. Now, if you're wondering, see, like it says close, escape there. It's giving you hotkeys and all that. Very helpful. Now, when you open Apple Studio, chances are you won't have this. I certainly didn't. So you might be confused how I got it. Don't worry. Yeah, it's just, I just forgot where it is. Sorry about that. Okay, right, so, basically, I thought it was in view, and it was, but I forgot you need to go into toolbars. So, yeah, it's here, in toolbars, hint bar. So I've just turned it off, but if you just go into view, toolbars, then hint bar should be there. And then when you go over anything, oh, there's GMS, oh, there's the cut-off knob, and that's how much you've moved it. All very helpful. So, now, this, I'm just going to make this the hats area, and I'll do that later. This next area, just in case you're curious, is going to be for sound effects. And like miscellaneous stuff, but for now we don't need any of that, so we're just going to start with our melody, which we should have started ages ago, but you know, I wanted to make sure everyone was on board with what was going on. So you don't have to do this. Sometimes this is actually unhelpful, but I like to use Apple keys just when I'm trying to make up a melody. So first of all, you got to think of a scale to use. Well, of course, it's not mandatory. Like, there is no rule of music that you like always have to follow. But I would really recommend you use scales because it is almost impossible to make anything good without them. So I'm just gonna go take a look at this scales list. Just a second, it's in here. And I'm gonna choose one I like now. If you have heard my music before, you've heard me talk about it, you probably know that I really overuse the scale C harmonic minor. Right, if you are new to this, I highly recommend you use this scale. I know it's got a lot of sharps, which looks daunting and all that, but trust me, like, this is like such a good scale. I'm not going to use it in this video because I want to create something original. And I've used this scale so much, so I feel like I'm just going to create something that sounds exactly like Gods or something else I just made, or Ice Gauntlet. So I don't want to use it for this, but if you are new, I do recommend you use this scale. Now, just in case you don't know what a scale is, even though it should be pretty self-explanatory, a scale is basically a series of 7 notes which you use all the time when making something. So if it's in C harmonic minor, you can only use C sharp harmonic minor. You can only use C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and C. Wait, I don't think that C is supposed to be there. We'll see. Anyway, but yeah. So basically, no D's, no like G's, no F's, but F sharps and all that. So dubstep, you don't need a minor scale, but major doesn't usually work for dubstep, and often minor scales often sound more complex and interesting anyway. So I'm going to go for a minor scale, and I'm going to go for E minor, because I'm new to E minor, but it seems very good. It's very atmospheric and dramatic. It's what I use for Fire Gauntlet, so it is, just to get in my mind, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D sharp, E. Right. So it's F sharp and D sharp are the sharps. Get in here, and when you use a scale, it's best to start on the note what the scale is in. So this is in E minor, so we're going to start on E, and just a bit of music theory, but like quick and actually useful. We're going to start with some chords, and you might find chords a headache. I remember I found chords very difficult when I first started. But here's a tip, right? Use the first, third, and fifth note in a scale, and that'll be a good starting chord. Now, don't overuse this, because you'll end up with chords that sound very boring and robotic, because it's so typical to use that kind of formula. But if you are struggling to make good chords, or if you just want to make it as a starting chord, a place to build off of, I do recommend using this technique. So, just double check G is in the scale, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. So, it's E, F sharp, but we don't use that because that's the second. Then it's G sharp, not G sharp, G. Then A, then it's B. So the first chord is E, G, B. Then the next chord, we're going to go down. Because it's minor, it's best to go down. You can't. It's not like you can't make a minor tune that goes up, but it's usually a better idea to go down. So then we're going to move this whole chord 2 notes down in this scale. So G and E will still be there, but because we move B to G and G to E, we've got to move E down 2, which is G sharp and then C. So the next one is going to be C, E, G. And then we're going to move it up 1, make a bit more different sounding chord, and this is going to have both the sharps, D sharp and F sharp in it, and then A there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move it down 2 again, so it's going to be B, D sharp, F sharp. Now, we could just leave this at 4 bars. You can often make stuff with 4 bars as your like repeating tune, riff, or ostinato. Which those are the 2 like words you can call it if you want to get all technical with it. But your repeating tune, riff, ostinato, whatever you want to call it, you can make it 4 bars. But it's going to be repetitive and annoying if you do that. Unless you're very good at varying synths and doing all these little things, you don't want to have 4 bars repeating over and over. So it's good to make it 8 bars. But of course, we're lazy and we don't want to do loads of work. No, but seriously, music repetition in EDM is important and makes the job a lot easier. So we're going to copy paste these first 3 chords, but just so our listeners don't get bored, this next chord is going to be, this last chord, instead of being a very low depressing B, D sharp, F sharp, it's going to be an F, A, C, which is going to be a lot higher pitched, and it's going to sound a lot more complete. Now that doesn't quite sound right. This can happen, even though you're using the right technique, the right idea by logic. The chords sometimes don't sound right, but this is when it gets creative because you can mess around with them, change the pitch of these and all that. And if the difference in between notes of them is great, it is isn't the same for all of them. So if there's one that's like 3 notes away, one that's 2 notes or whatever, it actually sounds a lot more emotional, a lot more complex, a lot more interesting. The only problem is that it's often a bit more shrill, a bit more unpleasant. So you don't want to do it constantly. You don't want to constantly have, oh, this is 3 notes away, this is 5 notes away. You don't want to have that. You want to have it to mostly be the same, and then have those ones that are a little different that stick out. Now, I'm running short on time, so I'm just end it as soon as I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm happy with FAB. I was a bit unsure about that, because basically, just before I end off, I just want to say, when you make chords, if you have 2 notes that are right next to each other in the scale, they often sound horrible. That's often how you make horror chords and all that. Like if I do D sharp and E, you get this. So try to make them far apart. Anyway, out of time, so if you like this video, please subscribe.